I'm gonna be real. I feel like Amazon is actually making a bad decision when it comes to launching Throne of Liberty on the console as their flagship console MMO, or rather their first flagship crossplay MMORPG, because I feel like they're gonna take the attention from Throne of Liberty, the hype for Throne of Liberty, and the response to Throne of Liberty as if they can bring New World to console, when I feel like they should have brought New World to console first. And I say that because New World has is already set to have a very good combat system, to have very good systems in places when it comes to dungeons, raids, open world events, and just things you can do in game, as well as just playing the game in general. New World has already set a precedent to know that it's a stable game. Whereas now Amazon is taking Throne of Liberty, a game that has already received horrible reception just from the Korean beta that was released in the footage a few months ago, where people saw the autoplay and people saw the tab target combat and just weren't pleased at all. And so I feel like that's going to reflect on Amazon's thinking of releasing games on console in the future, strictly because Throne of Liberty might just flop unless they completely change the combat system of the game around. And they are committed to do so. They are committed to making it where you can move during combat, but I feel like they're not going to do enough to where it makes the combat as fluid as people want it to be. For say something like Black Desert has fluid combat, unless they overhaul the entire game system and make the combat something new, which means they're gonna have to redo all the combat in the game as well when it comes to all the enemy combats, the mob combats, how PvP works, how PvP is structured, how raids are structured. They're gonna have to redo all of that. And I don't think that's something they're gonna be willing to do in the time period that they're setting for themselves to release this game, especially because we have a tech test that's supposed to be coming up at the end of this month. Now, obviously, I don't know what it takes to port a game from PC to console, so it probably just isn't as easy as flipping some switches and saying, "Hey Sony, hey Microsoft, we want to put New World on console." But I mean, I think it will probably be easier than porting an entire game from a different region to a localized region, and then getting all the translations down, and then finally putting it on PC and console and trying to release both simultaneously. I feel like doing New World to console would be a lot easier than doing the latter mentioned before. And I honestly hope they rethink that. I posted on their Twitter a few times just bugging them like, "Hey, New World on console when? Hey, New World on console when?" Because like, we want to know, like, New World would be a good console game. I played New World when it first released. I played it for, I want to say 8 months straight, and I love the game. My PC just didn't want to keep up with it after a while, not because of strain or whatever, because I had to start working and I couldn't run the game because of one of the systems that I had for my job made it to where I couldn't update the game past a certain point. And when I left that position at that job, I just never went back to it because everybody was so far ahead. But all that being said, I'm a huge advocate for video games that are on PC coming to console, especially MMOs, because MMOs have a place on console as it is now. With the amount of MMOs on console currently, MMOs have a bigger place on console than they've ever had before. The technology is there to bring them to console. It's just these companies seem to be afraid to do so. And like, we have other games like Albion Online, which would definitely benefit from being on console. We have even RuneScape that would benefit from being on console. Even World of Warcraft will benefit from being on console. Like, the amount of players would increase because people have the interest in these games. They just don't have access to play these games the way they want to play them. Like, some people don't have the gaming PC to play a game like New World, or they don't have the gaming PC, or they don't want to play Albion Online on their mobile or play it on PC because the controller feels better. Personally, I like controller gameplay more than anything. But once again, my PC is used for other things such as work, such as where other people have to use their PC for the same thing, and some systems just won't allow you to update the game because of whatever systems your work is actually running. But like I said before, I am actually ignorant to what it takes to bring a game from PC to console and make it run smoothly, because my only examples for that are Terra and Black Desert, and Terra turned out to run really well. until they close down the PC version. Console version of Terra is still up. Black Desert is running decent at this time. It does run a lot better on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. I mean, Xbox, is it Series X? Yeah, Series X. I've been thinking 1X and S. There's too many Xboxes, I'm sorry. But it's been running good on these newer consoles, so I don't see a reason why any of these other games wouldn't be moved over to console as well, when it would just bolster the player base, to be honest. But of course, the PC elitists won't agree with this because they want to keep games on PC, because they feel it's going to take away from the development of games, when it honestly won't. Especially if the games have their own servers where PC players and console players don't even have to interact. I mean, it would be something like that, and that would be fine, to be honest. But with the amount of players on console that are just waiting for games to play, a lot of these PC games would definitely benefit from coming to console. And honestly, New World should be one of them. And Amazon is trying to make a front on getting games on console. They're bringing Blue Protocol next year. They're bringing Throne and Liberty next year. We don't know what else they're working on in the future to bring to console, but we know those are the two of the major things that are coming up, that they're going to be using the reception of that to push further into if they're going to be bringing games to console or not. And honestly, I can't think of any good reason not to bring a PC game to console, unless it's just the graphical limitations, which, once again, a lot of games do run a lot better on the Xbox Series than they do on PlayStation. But even if it comes to Xbox, I'll pick up an Xbox if that's the case, bro. Even though my preferred system is PlayStation, just because it's been my first system. Since getting into, well, Nintendo technically was my first system when getting into gaming, but my first hardcore system was a PlayStation 2. Just like most of us, really. And so, like, I'm rambling at this point. But I mean, if there's a game dev out there, let me know in the comments, what are the actual limitations to bringing a game to console? I know Sony does have a lot of stipulations and rules around their getting games on their platform. So I know there is some things about that. I know some things about that. I don't know exactly the details about it. I do know some things about that. But any game dev or any insider person at Sony or Microsoft that has experience, or any MMO developer for PC that has experience with bringing games to console or trying to get their game on console, if you're here, hit me up in the comments. Let me know exactly what it takes, because I don't want to walk around ignorantly thinking for the rest of my life like these games should have come to console, and they just aren't because companies are afraid, which is what I currently think now. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching me harp on and on. I'll see you guys in the next video. It's been forever. Peace.